What's up, everybody? John Arapola here with My MMA News, and today's guest will be fighting Dwayne Johnson at Bellator 273 on January 29th. I'm pleased to be joined by undefeated middleweight prospect Dalton Rosta here today. Dalton, thanks so much for the time here today, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time as well.
Hey, man, no problem at all. And let's get into things here. Before we actually start getting into this fight specifically, I do want to start with you had a recent call out of Romero Cotton. You were actually granted that fight, which you were asking for there, but then, of course, he pulled out of the fight last minute on a few days or a few weeks' notice here. Just talk about that, just how upsetting you were, or how upset you were that you made this call out like that and then had the fight not come through.
Surprise, surprise. I'm not surprised at all. We were supposed to fight 2 times before this, so this is the 3rd time. The first time was September of 2020. He asked for the date to be pushed back, so there was strike number 1. It was pushed back to October 29th, 2-3 weeks before the fight. He says he can't fight anymore. He hurt his lower back or something, and pulled out of that. And then I ended up fighting Ty Gorder on that date instead. So that was irritating me a little bit. I was supposed to fight in September, probably could have fought again before the year's end, but instead didn't end up fighting until April against Romero's teammate, who I ended up shutting out 30-27 in a unanimous decision as well. But we were supposed to fight. I called him out after the fight and heard nothing, more silence, several interviews, called him out again, more silence, called him out on Instagram, called him out on Twitter, no responses. He's viewing my story whenever I'm tagging him in them, but not responding, not saying anything. Finally, I don't know if Bellator put pressure on him or what. He accepted the fight, and just like a week ago, he pulled out of the fight. So, like I said, surprise,
So you go through all of this whole process of trying to get a fight with them. Now, obviously, this happens. You said, right, 2 strikes there. Is this at the point now where you're not even interested in this, or if you're to get a win here, do you still want to make this fight happen?
No, I am absolutely not interested in this fight whatsoever anymore, period. So after the first 2 times, I wasn't interested at all. But then they came out with the rankings, and they had him ranked above me. They didn't even have me ranked at first. Then they ranked me, then they unranked me, then they ranked me again. But every single time he's ranked above me. So I'm like, all right, you look at the quality of our opponents, mine's much higher than his. And we're both 5-0, his much, much higher. And long story short, the only reason I wanted to fight him is because he was ranked above me. So that was just to try and prove something to the media, whoever's voting on these rankings. But me calling him out after the fight, and then several months going by, him not saying anything, calling him out on Instagram, calling him out on Twitter, exploring every avenue that I can probably to try and get this fight, so I can prove to everybody this dude should not be ranked above me. I was just going to start chipping away at everybody one by one. And fight didn't happen. He pulled out again. He's a pull-out queen. And, if any of the media that votes on this is listening to this, sees this, whatever, this is the 3rd time he's pulled out. I know he didn't accept the fight. He pulled out of a fight with my former opponent, Ty Gorder. This dude pulls out of fights left and right, has not fought in a year, in 3 months, 2 months, whatever it is. And they just need to hear this. They are doing these rankings wrong. He should not be in the rankings. And one of 2 things is going to happen. He's either not going to fight in the 2-year span where he's going to get kicked out of the rankings, or 2, he's going to fight somebody ranked and get beat very, very bad, like he was going to on January 29th, which he decided to pull out. So one of those 2 things are going to happen, where he's going to get bumped out of the rankings. So they might as well just take him out of the rankings and do everybody else a favor right now.
So I was actually going to ask you about this coming up, but since you brought it up now, I'll get to this right now. I wanted to ask you about that ranking system there, the fact that you aren't currently ranked. Do you think that if you get a win here on January 29th that, like you said, you have a good body of work, you're going to be 6-0. There's 2 guys that are ranked in front of you that are 5-0. Do you think a win here gets you into the ranking system, or at least will guarantee you to get a ranked opponent to finally be able to start kind of climbing the ladder here of the rankings?
Yeah, I think so. But like I said to a reporter before this, they asked me if I even care about him anymore. And I said, honestly, not, because eventually they're going to work themselves out. But as of right now, the people who are voting on him aren't obviously not trying to take any shots at anybody. But this is hard game to the fight game is very hard game to analyze, you know, on an individual level. So I'm not taking any shots at anybody about this, but they have the rankings all wrong, you know, and they're going to play out eventually and fix themselves, but they're not doing it right whatsoever. I should be, you know, at least 8th, you know, and then after this fight, who knows if they'll have me ranked or not. I really don't care as of now, but if they don't, I'm still going to call out a ranked guy. I want to fight Mike Shipman or Charlie Ward or somebody after this. So that's my next step. I'm skipping right over Romero Cotton. Forget that. You know, I don't want to waste any more time. I don't want to waste any more preparation. I don't want to waste 8 weeks of preparation on one person just to have it switch last minute. So Mike Shipman or Charlie Ward after this, I know they haven't fought in a while, so they're probably going to need an opponent and a willing dancing partner, which Romero Cotton's probably not it anyways. So I'll gladly fill that role for either of them.
All right. Well, hopefully that you'll be able to get that down the line here. But let's stick with this upcoming fight here. Just let's talk about Dwayne here a little bit. What have you seen out of him as you've been now preparing for him? I know you haven't had a long time to prepare for him, but what is the quality of opponent here, and what are you expecting on fight night?
You know, he's athletic. He's southpaw striker. He has decent striking, but some of the things I noticed is he doesn't string his combinations together very well. You know, he throws a couple of 1, 2, 3, you know, very basic stuff. But when he's throwing his kicks, besides following up some of his kicks with a 2 right after, he usually throws stuff one at a time, you know, and there's a time and place for that. Don't get me wrong. Every fighter does it. You know, they'll jab, 1, 2, 1, 2. They're setting their stuff up, but eventually you see them open up. I haven't seen that out of them, and I'm preparing for somebody that does, but I think that's going to be easy to exploit. And then also he's 6-2. He built up a good record and everything, and as I said, athletic, good striker, but his quality of opponents isn't very good either. You look at Tapology report, there's a lot of losing records. His strength of schedule a lot less than mine too, so I think he's going to have a lot harder test this time around than he has in the past. And I think it's going to be either a very long, gruesome night for him or a short and sweet one, where either way he's ending up on the losing side.
So what are some of the hard things about this, right? Taking a fight on short notice. I know it's something that you're used to doing, but I still imagine to some degree it has to be difficult when you're preparing for something and then, hey, scratch that out, and now here you go, a whole new opponent, whole new skill set on just a few days' notice.
Yeah. So it's I shouldn't say difficult, you know, it's disappointing to see somebody that you've been preparing for and all the hard work you've been putting in to pull out last minute, but I was expecting it. And the change of the opponent with all my training partners I have at ATT and with my coaches and everybody, no matter how late they change the opponents, I'm prepared for whoever they're going to throw in front of me. So we'll drop a game plan. We'll execute the game plan on fight night, and that's that. But, I mean, there's not much you can do. This is the fight game. It happens, you know. He has the same amount of time to prepare as I do for me. You know, he's probably used to sparring and fighting against orthodox guys, so it's probably nothing new to him. But at the same time, he still has minimal time to prepare. I'm sure he's been training, or else he wouldn't have taken the fight, so he's probably in shape. But still, either way, same result.
And you were just talking there, right, about American Top Team and some of the great teammates you have down there. I wanted to ask you about that because you have, right, Austin Vanderford, who's going to be fighting for the title, Johnny Eblin, who's ranked number 4, yourself, who, like you were saying, should be ranked, and hopefully after this fight will be ranked. So right there in the top 10 in Bellator, 3 guys that you get to train with every single day. What's it been like getting to work with those guys every single day and kind of have you guys all grow in your career at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it's great, dude. They're all really good, you know. There's some very tough rounds in the wrestling room, you know, wrestling, striking, sparring, everything. So we all push each other. We're all getting better, you know, and eventually there's going to be a point where we might have to fight each other, but we're not looking at that right now. We're training with each other to help each other grow and get better. And that's what we're doing. I mean, if you look at any other gym, what other gym has 3 top 10 guys all training with each other, you know, pushing each other every single day, you know, and all 3 of us are in the top 10. One of us is fighting for the title. So nobody's getting any better training than us 3, you know. And then you add the other guys that are in the gym that are in the top 10 in UFC, and you got Yaroslav Amazov who hasn't been here recently because he's at Tiger Muay Thai. But like that, it just goes to show you that American Top Team truly is the best gym.
Yeah, American Top Team really is one of the best gyms in the world. And I wanted to ask you one other thing, too, with training down there. So I know you kind of just alluded to it in your last answer there, but I did just speak to Johnny Eblin recently, and he's obviously hoping that Austin wins the title. That's, of course, his teammate. But then he's hoping that if he gets a win in his next fight, that gets him a title fight, which would obviously result in teammate versus teammate. And he was saying that that him and Austin had already had this conversation where if it did come down to it, it's just business, nothing personal, that they're going to go out there and do what they have to do. So have you been included into those conversations that you're on the rise like this too? Like, is this all business as usual if it's, those roads ever cross themselves?
I mean, me and Johnny haven't talked about it, but me and Austin have talked about it. Me and Austin are pretty good friends. We hang out outside of the gym. We train together all the time. We constantly text. We play video games together, everything. So it's not just training partners. We're friends. I think between me and Austin, I don't think we would ever fight each other. Austin has expressed his interest if he wins the title, and let's say they give, I don't know what him and Austin's or him and Johnny's deal is, but if they offered me a fight, let's say I rattle off 2 quick knockout wins or whatever, and I get, after Johnny gets his shot, I get my shot. He said he would probably go up to 205 and challenge for the 205-pound title, and just, if he wins it, vacate the 185 so he didn't have to fight me. But I mean, that's that. Me and Johnny really haven't had that conversation. Me and Johnny are cool and everything too. I would consider us friends, but it's not on the level that me and Austin are. So I mean, like Johnny said, I've heard him say it in interviews, if they're paying the right money and it's for a title, I mean, I'll fight my teammates, but the thing is, and I'm not just saying this just because they're my teammates, but out of the whole entire division, you look across the whole entire division, the toughest and the most well-contested fights in this division would be between Austin and Johnny, me and Austin, or me and Johnny. Those are going to be the toughest, most well-contested, tightest fights in this division, in my opinion. Win or lose for whoever, And I think whenever it comes down to it, and me and Austin and Johnny are ranked 1, 2, and 3, or champion 1 and 2, Bellator is going to probably have to fork up a little bit of money, a little bit more money, and, raise the stakes a little bit to make it happen.
Well, there is still a lot of moving parts that have to go in with all of that, so I guess we'll just see where that all plays itself out. But one other teammate that I want to ask you about, he's an American Top Team teammate. He's also a Mat Factory teammate from back in the day. Cody Law, what a great start he's off to his MMA career there, and I've gotten to know him pretty well over the years here of interviewing him. Just how proud are you of him and what he's done so far in his short Bellator career here?
Yeah, man, he's accomplished a lot. I mean, when he first signed with Bellator, because my start with Bellator, they gave me 2 fights in the first year. He was telling me, he's like, they told me they would fight me as often as possible. I was like, listen, it's great to be optimistic, but don't expect to fight 5, 6 times in the first year, because that was what he was expecting. And he fought 5 times in a year, and he rattled off 5 wins, and works hard. He's constantly improving. So it's great to see, especially him being from the same town as me. No, not the same town, same area as me. And coming out of the same gym, moving to the same gym, and us being good friends, it's great to see, and he's just going to continue to grow.
And I want to ask you about the Mat Factory, too, because it was so beneficial to Cody as well. I know whenever I interview Cody, he always talks about the great work that he used to do there, and that he still does. He said he still goes and visits and checks in and gets some work in there. So just how has the Mat Factory helped you out through the years here? And do you still go back and visit it and do some workouts when you go back home?
Oh, yeah, I go back. I train there whenever I'm home, and I train at Armazzani Jiu-Jitsu Academy at Lou Armazzani as well. So him and Isaac Grilly are my 2 coaches. They're both my jiu-jitsu coaches. I've learned and trained under both of them. Isaac gave me my blue belt, Lou gave me my blue belt. Isaac gave me my purple. So I mean, I have a loyalty to them, but 2, it's also, they're still great training. I love training with Lou. I love training with Isaac, and I love training with a lot of other guys at the gym. It's always good work, and it's the type of push and stuff you need whenever you get home. So I couldn't say enough good things about the Mat Factory and Armazzani Jiu-Jitsu Academy, or Lou or Isaac as a whole. They're great people, great gyms, and like if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be in the spot. Not probably, I definitely wouldn't be in the spot that I am right now.
One last thing before we wrap things up here. You're an American Top Team guy. You're a Pennsylvania guy. American Top Team over the summer just opened up a gym, ATT Happy Valley, right on the outskirts of Penn State there. I got to go down to the grand opening and do some interviews, met Bo Nickel and company down there. I know when I talked to Cody last, he was saying when he was going to go home, he did want to try to get there a few times to get some workouts in there. I don't know, have you gotten to see the facility at all? I know when the last time you were back in Pennsylvania, but I was just wondering if you've gotten to see American Top Team Happy Valley, and if you plan on going down and visiting it and seeing it and checking it out and that.
I definitely want to go up and visit, get some training and up there, but I haven't yet. It's about 2.5 hours for me. And usually whenever I'm home, I'm on a tight schedule. I have a pretty full schedule with training, therapy, whether I'm getting PRP on my body, stem cell done, cortisone shots, whatever, or just body maintenance, needling, massage, cryo, all that stuff done. I have a pretty tight schedule, and I try to train locally, but I definitely want to get up there. Probably next time I'm home. It's a nice gym. It's a part of the ATT family. It's a American Top Team gym, and some good people up there, such as Bo Nickel, who I've had the chance to train with a few times, and he's a very good wrestler. Obviously, that goes without being said. So that's going to be one of my goals next time I'm home, to get up there.
Yeah, it's a great facility. You're definitely going to like it. And now finally, before I let you get going here, if you want to go ahead, plug your social media so everybody knows where to find you at. Also, if you have any coaches, teammates, sponsors, management, whoever you want to give a shout out to, floor is yours.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dalton Rosta. And obviously I'd like to thank my coaches, Anderson Franca and Mike Brown, who's going to be in my corner. Tiago Alves is also going to be in my corner, but my coaches that aren't going to be in my corner, Steve Maka always helps me out. Artem Levin always helps me out. Gabriel De Oliveira always helps me out. So, I have Isaac Grilly as well. Whenever I'm home, he's not going to be in my corner because he has Whippeals back at home. You know how big wrestling is back there, and he coaches Burl. So, there's, as for coaches, I can keep going on and on and on. I have the best coaches around me. They help me whenever I possibly need it. Anytime I ask, they're there. As for my sponsors, I'd like to just thank my two biggest sponsors, Arias Agencies and Scooter King, who have been with me from the very beginning, and they do everything they can to help me as well. I have other sponsors, but those being my two biggest ones, and them being with me from the very beginning, I'd like to put a lot of attention towards them.
All right, Dalton, thanks for the time, man, and good luck in your upcoming fight. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to see what you do in your future here. I know a lot of great things happening down there in American Top Team, and hopefully you get to check out ATT Happy Valley, too. It's a great place. So anyway, Dalton, I'll let you get going here, man. Thanks for the time, and thank you to everybody that watched today's interview. I appreciate it. If you liked it, please go to the bottom, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Also, guys, MyMMANews.com, amazing website. Make sure you guys keep going there, checking out the great work that we put out there. Our social media pages, if you haven't done so already, please give us a like and a follow on there. And if you want to find me on Instagram or Twitter, I'm at John Arapoli. We'll see you later, everybody.